We are on the air. We are doing English 5 Upper Intermediate. Page 51. A Rose Without a Thorn. Michał, go ahead.
Catherine Howard, an apparently naive teenage girl, became Henry VIII's fifth wife. But despite being so young, the new queen already had a past which would soon destroy her. In 1540, Henry VIII was 49 and unhappy. Although in his youth he had been a handsome, athletic and charismatic man, he could now hardly walk because of painful absence of his leg. He was grotesquely fat, 135 centimeters around the waist, and his mood alternated between depression and moments of terrible anger. The only consolation was the company of a young girl called Catherine Howard, with whom he was fast falling in love. There is some doubt about her age, but she can't have been much more than 15. A cousin of Henry's second wife, Anne Boleyn, Catherine was a pretty, vivacious and graceful girl, and the king was captivated by her. He called her his jewel,
right?
Jewel, his rose without a thorn. In spite of his physical problems, Henry could still be charming when he wanted to be. What is certain is that Catherine was ambitious, thought rather naive and empty-headed, and like most girls of her age, mainly interested in clothes and dancing. On 28th of July, after managing to get rid of Queen Anne by divorcing her, Henry married Catherine in secret, and he was soon showing off his attractive young wife at court. Catherine appeared to love every moment of her new life with her infatuated husband, who was far more generous than he had been with previous wives, buying her diamonds, pearls, and furs with rubies. Francis Durian, who had been her lover when she was 13 or 14, came to court and asked Catherine for work. Perhaps in order to buy his silence, she employed him as her secretary. This was a fatal mistake. In September, while the king was away, a man came to see Archbishop Cranmer, the king's advisor, says that he knew things about the queen's past and suggesting that she had had several sexual partners before she married the king. Cranmer started to investigate and soon discovered that the boy now working at her secretary had previously been her lover. While King Henry was in charge giving thanks to God for his new young wife, Archbishop Cranmer left a letter for him to read, in which he accused Catherine of immoral behavior before her marriage. She was at the royal palace dancing when the Queen's Guard arrived to arrest him. "It is not the time for dancing anymore," said one of the guards. Catherine was taken away and locked in her room. Catherine spent the following days in hysterics, neither eating nor drinking and crying uncontrollably. At one point she tried to run past the guards to try to walk her husband to beg his forgiveness, but she was dragged back screaming to her room. If Catherine had only been guilty of having had a relationship before her marriage, Henry might have forgiven her, but she had been hiding another, even worse secret. Catherine had been having secret meeting with a boy called Thomas Culpeper, one of the handsome young men at court. One of her ladies-in-waiting betrayed her. Thomas Culpeper's room was evidently searched, and passionate love letters from Catherine was found. "It makes my heart die when I think I cannot always be in your company. I have never wished for anything so much as to see you. Yours as long as life endures, Catherine." The evidence was conclusive. Catherine had been having an affair right under King Henry's nose. Catherine and her lovers were doomed. Resigned to her own destiny, Catherine's only wish now was to make a good impression at her execution. She asked for the executioner's block to be brought to her room and spent her last night practicing putting her head on the block. The next day, on 13th of February 1542, almost 2 weeks too weak to walk, she was taken to Tower Hill and beheaded. She was buried next to her cousin Anne Boleyn in the Tower of London.
Tak dobrze czytałem, że miałem dreszcze po prostu. Dzięki.